And so the next pieces that I'm going to suggest for you is that you will fill out the net price calculator. There is also a very good tool of FAFSA Forecaster. Some colleges also practice giving an early financial read. So for any juniors, if there are colleges specifically that you're interested in, but you're worried about things, you've done your net price calculator, you can inquire from financial aid by picking up a phone and asking, do you do an early financial read, which essentially they'll request a set of documents from you, and this is a more robust way to get an estimate than the net price calculator. But in most of our cases, the net price calculator is more than sufficient. And so the assignment you're going to get is to complete the net price calculator for 4 colleges. So in our seniors, use the Colby College. Colby College has an available net price calculator in English and in Spanish. So if your family is Spanish speaking, your parents are Spanish speaking, it would be helpful to guide them, to show to them what this process will look like. The Colby College is the good place for you to go to in terms of the net price calculator. You can just put in Google and Colby College, Colby College and net price calculator, and you'll be directed to the right link. I wanted you, though, to fill out for University of Pennsylvania, Drexel University, 2 private colleges in a very similar vicinity. For those of you who know Philadelphia, know that they're very close by across the kind of green area, but very, very different colleges in terms of their net price and their financial aid policy. Then fill out your in-state public university and then another college you're thinking about. When you come to the senior year, you'll have to do these net price calculators 40 times plus, so that you are able to really do your homework and figure out, where should we be applying to. There is also an option, by the way, underclassmen, for you to start practicing FAFSA. Obviously not right now, but in December 1, when it's going to get rolled out, you can start filling out FAFSA even earlier, before your senior year. It gets updated every year, and certain fields will disappear, but most of your information will stay. So if this is something that you want to get some practice in, you can also do that, and you'll get a student aid report as a result, what kind of federal aid you can be eligible for. Before I stop and ask you questions, I wanted to share a couple of other resources. So there is a wonderful website that got created during President Obama's administration called College Scorecard. The website is collegescorecard.ed.gov, collegescorecard.ed.gov, that allows for you to compare colleges. So very often when students come to me and say, I'm going to apply to North Carolina A&T, I'm going to apply to Lincoln University, whatnot, this is the website I would pull up and just show you a comparison. You can just search the colleges that you're interested in and then look for a comparison, ready to compare 2 schools. So in this particular case, I'm comparing University of Penn and Drexel University. So you see that it compares the net price, University of Penn versus Drexel University, and you see that both private schools very differently net priced. It compares the graduation rate, which is so important. Graduation rate is not accidental. It's the outcome of the support services that the college has, as well as selectivity, of course. You see that at University of Penn, just pretty much every student who comes in graduates. At Drexel University, though, not so much, So, and then there is another piece around median earnings. On average, how much do the students earn once they come out 10 years after entering school? So you see University of Penn, Drexel students earn very well as well on average, but University of Penn students out-earn Drexel students. So that's a very valuable tool for you guys to use. The net price calculators, this is the one for University of Pennsylvania. You can grab the link, or you can just do your own search by saying University of Penn net price calculator. And this is the one for Drexel University. Every college is required, mandated federally, to have net price calculators. So there is really no excuse for you guys not to do your homework. Every college has to do that. That is a kind of, as of the past decade, less than a decade development. It didn't used to exist before, But now every college has to have it. And after some 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe for the first one, you'll have an estimate for that college. And then a couple of other, this is the FAFSA forecaster. You can just, again, Google FAFSA forecaster. And then a couple of other things. So a lot of people were talking about debt, 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 debt. So I wanted to become a little bit more specific around the student loans and explain the position that we have at TeensHARP after working with so many families around student loans. So the situation in the country is indeed very alarming. That students are borrowing, as much as 37,000 per borrower, right? They take up to 20 years to pay off their student debt, but some people are substantially in debt, like hugely, hugely, hugely in debt. People can graduate with $90,000+ in debt. Black women tend to be a group of people who are most educated, rising very, very, very a sharp increase in the number of Black women who are obtaining college education, but they also tend to go to institutions that are not great financially. So as a result, Black women are the group that is most indebted when it comes to student loan debt. And so this is an issue that TeensHARP is directly working to address, because our Black women ain't indebted at the levels that we're talking about nationally. They're minimally indebted, if at all. And so it's important for you guys to know, because there were such words used as a lot of loans. What are we talking about in terms of loans? So the loans that are offered to you by federal government go like this, and you guys can write it down for yourself so that you can be educated. So for freshman students, so students in their first year, they will be offered no more than $5,500 in loans. That's federal loans. So the self-help portion in freshman year will not exceed $5,500 for colleges that include that. 3,500 of those for students, the eligible students, will be subsidized. Subsidized is a more favorable loan. Why is it more favorable? Because the interest rate, loan, unlike grant, is the money that is borrowed, and it's borrowed at an interest rate. The federal interest rate is very, very low, but it exists. So in other words, if you borrow $1,000 in freshman year, by the time you graduate, it might be $1,300, okay, or $1,030. It's a small interest rate that you're going to be able to incur. But the subsidized loan, the federal government pays off the interest on that portion of the subsidized loan. So in other words, whatever you borrow stays exactly that amount at the time when you graduate. It doesn't grow because the federal government takes care of it. Higher income students are not eligible for subsidized loans. So the entire $5,500 will be unsubsidized loans. So that's the full amount that is going to grow minimally year over year. Sophomores, your loan is going to increase by $1,000. Then again, in the junior year, it's going to increase by another $1,000 and stay the same in the senior year. So students, if you are accepting a financial aid with a loan of $5,500, you need to know that it's going to grow by $1,000 in your sophomore year, and then once again in the junior year. And it will stay at the level of the junior year for your senior year as well, and beyond. If you have to take more than 4 years to complete your education, it will stay at $7,500. So can somebody do the math for me and tell me that even if you have to borrow, even if you borrow the full, this is called full loan eligibility, full federal loan eligibility. If you borrow the full amount, what you're eligible for from the federal government, how much money are you going to owe at the end? $27K. Thank you so much to Taiwo. $27K. Yes, parents did their math real quick. So that is a number that is substantially less than what we're talking about, the average borrowing for American students, right? For students, substantially less, even if you have to borrow the full amount. So at TeensHARP, we see our students graduate from college and walk into workforce making $100,000 and more. We know that for our students, once, some of them take full loan eligibility, some of them take a percentage, just the subsidized portion of it, and not the unsubsidized portion. So the situation can vary, but we have a number of students who take the full loan eligibility and they graduate with 27,000. But for the kind of quality of education and career opportunities that they're able to gain, that then translate into $100,000 salary right out of college, you're close to that amount of loan is not going to be a bother for them. And they do not take 20 years to pay it off. And they pay it off very, very fast. So for us as advisors, we feel very comfortable advising you to pursue colleges that include loan, and then borrow if it helps you make your education affordable. We will never advise parents to borrow Parent Plus loan or for students to go into private loans. That is a no, 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 never, never, never. But when it comes to that federal loan with a very minimal interest rate, as well as a big portion being subsidized loan, the $20,000 for the quality of education that typical TeensHARP student buys is a very, very, very low cost to pay. So we are not scared of the word loan here. We understand what we are dealing with, and we understand that the federal loan is what we can leverage if we have to make education affordable.